everybody, happy Sunday. I hope that wherever you are and whatever you are doing, you are having a truly amazing weekend. If you're in the US, we're just 1 week away from a long weekend. So I hope that we can all collectively get over the finish line and have a much needed break if one is available to us. I don't know about you, but I've been thinking a lot lately about resilience and resilience in our homes. Partly because some of the consulting work that Transport Evolved does on the side has focused on resilience, but also because I've been thinking a lot about my home integration system, and I just bashed my finger on the power box there, sorry. I've been thinking a little bit about our home integration system, which we have here at the house, and it allows me to power my home from my F-150 Lightning when there is a power cut. I know that there's been some news stories lately about resilience and vehicle to home systems. We had obviously that massive quote for the Tesla version of what I've got here, and also GM has been advertising its vehicle to home system. It recently had a party in a mansion that was powered by a Silverado EV, I believe, and it's got me thinking a little bit about what resilience means for you and what resilience means where you live. Specifically, is it about being able to keep your home running? Here for me it is, because we live out in the foothills of the Coast Range and we need to be able to keep our well pump running. We need to keep our septic system running. Those two things obviously are fairly essential for us to be able to keep drinking and dealing with things the other end. We don't have mains plumbing here. We're all off grid. But also to be able to obviously power essential communications equipment. We don't have cable internet or ADSL here. It's all done wirelessly, and when the power goes out, we have one internet connection. Unfortunately, one of our internet connections does in fact die when there is a power cut, because it relies on other people down the valley also having power, and very few people have the amount of battery backup that we have. So our system comes back online very quickly after a power cut occurs, but a lot of people further down the valley that we need to bounce that signal off to get down the mountain, they don't. So we have to rely on satellite internet at that point. And I think I've already made my opinions pretty clear about having to use satellite internet from a certain company, and how I would very much like there to be an alternative that offers the same kind of speed, but there isn't yet. And when there is, hopefully I will be able to switch. Anyway, that aside, resilience for me also means being able to grow my own food. If you watch this channel, you'll know through my chicken and garden updates that I am a keen gardener. I like growing fruits and vegetables. I like being able to put things on my dinner plate that I have grown myself. In fact, this week, my wife has been away up in Seattle on a business trip. And the whole week I have been, at lunchtime, I've been having a salad that I have partly grown, lettuce that I've partly grown, and I've been putting cucumber and tomato on. Obviously those are from the store because my cucumbers and my tomatoes are not ready yet. But I've been supplementing that with a couple of fresh boiled eggs from my chickens. That is what resilience looks like for me as well, being able to provide my own food, being able to not have to worry about going to the store every single day. That is what resilience looks like for me when it comes to food resilience. So we've got power resilience, you've got food resilience, but then the next kind of the next string in my bow, I guess, is something that I think about a lot, and that is skill resilience. Now, back when we lived in the UK, and of course, my wife and I used to live in the UK, and then Kate and her partner used to live in the UK, and then we had other friends in the UK, and we used to joke that we were a really good group of friends to know because, you know, if something terrible happened, we had a registered nurse. We knew someone who was a tank mechanic, believe it or not, and could rebuild military equipment really easily. And obviously we had electronics whizzes in our little group of friends, and people who could program, people who could do woodworking, people who could do electronics, all of those things. And for me, that also spoke very much to resilience in a community setting. So if something bad were to happen and the metaphorical hit the fan, do I have people around me that I can rely on to help bridge the skill gap and get things running? I'm not necessarily talking about a world-ending catastrophe, because if that were to happen, we'd all be screwed. But certainly knowing people who have the skills needed to be able to assist us if there was a natural disaster, if we had to be off-grid for a couple of weeks or maybe a month, what would that look like? Who would I want to be around, and what skills do they have? Obviously, my wife is a keen woodworker. I know a lot of you want to see what she does in the shop there. She's not keen on being on camera, and that's totally okay, and that's totally her thing. But she does a lot of woodworking. In fact, she made the chicken coop that the camera is currently perched on top of. And so having those skills, again, is a really useful skill, whether it's just being able to tweak furniture or make repairs or build something at a pinch from a very limited amount of leftover wood and a few bits and bobs. That's also a very good skill to have. For some people, being able to repair an engine might be considered good resilience. Maybe you are somebody who can take a very simple 4-cylinder engine and get it running and keep it running. Or maybe you're someone who's well versed in diesel engines. And yes, while diesel engines are very heavily polluting, they're also extremely versatile and very forgiving, and you can get them running in emergency situations and keep them running. So maybe that is what resilience looks like for you. And I would love to know in the comments section what resilience looks like for you. Are you resilient in terms of your own power generation and storage? Or rather, this spam panel doesn't really give me any resilience. So are you resilient in terms of this? Are you resilient in terms of your own food and where you get things from? Maybe you're someone who knits or weaves. That is obviously a skill that you can add to resilience, because it allows you to not have to rely on a store for clothes. You could make your own, or you could certainly modify your own or repair your own. So tell me in the comments below what resilience looks like for you in an age where natural disasters are becoming more likely, where displaced communities are going to become more common, and where, if we need to just up sticks and move for whatever reason, whether it's political change, which, yeah, that is a likelihood now, unfortunately, as a member of the LGBTQ community, that is something that is a possibility for me, right? I hope it doesn't happen, but it's a possibility. Or maybe it's flooding, maybe it's fire, maybe it's earthquake, maybe it's some other thing that we haven't thought of, maybe it's war. How do you keep resilient? How do you keep your family safe and resilient? And what does that look like for you? When you think of that word, resilient, how does it define how you live your life and what you do? Maybe it's emotional resilience as well. We forgot to add that. But emotional resilience as an adoptive parent, that is something that I know all too well. The ability to just smile and keep on going no matter what. I know that there were times when I was going through some really tough mental periods about a decade ago now with my adopted kids, and having to deal with some of the trauma that they had to deal with from their birth family. That was tough on everybody, and having the emotional resilience to keep going through that. Whew, it's quite a challenge. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I hope you like this slightly different situation for filming. Normally I just put the camera on the back of the pickup truck for Sunday Musing, but as we were talking about resilience, I thought, why not? Let's just put it up here next to the home integration system. Luckily, I don't have to use that very often, but I am very grateful that we invested the $9,000-$10,000 and got it running eventually. It runs much better with a new truck than it did with a Duratal. Anyway, that's it. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for joining me today, and if you've got thoughts, make sure you leave them below in our Discord chat room, or you can reach out to us on Mastodon. Thanks to the amazing list of people scrolling by on your screen right now. They are some of more than the 1,500 people who help fund this channel through Patreon and YouTube, covering our bills, paying our team, and making sure that we can remain 100% independent. If you'd like to join them and see your name listed here, just follow the links below. There's a range of different tiers you can sign up for, from as little as $1 a month, or if you pay yearly, just over $10 a year. A huge welcome to our newest supporters. Look, it's Moose, Dom, Stefan Benty, Tom G. Richardson, Benjamin Ford, Indigo, and Kem. To join the list and get your shout out, become a paid Patreon member for your week of fame. If you'd like to support us with a one-off donation, you'll find links below to make Ko-fi and Bitcoin donations, and we even have an old-fashioned P.O. box you can reach us at, address also below. And if you're in need of some swag, you'll find our swag store, also linked below. This month, we are celebrating a new amazing t-shirt design by our in-house artist and animator, Erin. Get yours today by heading to our Redbubble store. We've got some great content coming up, so make sure you've subscribed on PeerTube or YouTube, and we'll see you soon. We make new videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you want more, the mighty algorithm thinks you'll like this video, but we also think this one is well worth a look. See you soon, and as always, keep evolving.